Good evening. My name is Michelle De Leon. Welcome to our flexible tuition workshop. I am the Interim Director of Admissions while Davion is away on paternity leave. He feels so fortunate to be able to spend time with his family right now, and I'm excited to step in and continue to move this process along for our prospective families. We are excited to have this night with you and share the various ways in which we're able to make Lick-Wilmerding High School accessible for all of our families. So I'm going to share my screen now, and then my team can let me know if they can't see it. Good. So awesome. So here is our agenda for tonight. We're going to talk about the flexible tuition process, review some dates that everyone should know, as well as share some tips. And lastly, we'll answer some of our common questions and end the night with a Q&A. So this is our team, again, minus Davion. And I will pass the virtual mic over to Jeanette.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Jeanette Moore. I am the CFOO here at Lick-Wilmerding, and I've been here for about 6 years, but have been working in independent schools for about 15 years. And I work very closely with Emily on our flexible tuition program. So with that, I'm going to pass it over to Emily.
Hi, everyone. My name is Emily, and I'm the financial aid officer here at Lick-Wilmerding. I've been working here about 16 years. And as Jeanette mentioned, we work really closely together in determining the flex tuition decisions. And I'm also the primary contact for returning families should they have any questions regarding the flexible tuition application process. And I will now pass the mic back to Una.
Hi, my name is Una Murphy. I'm one of the admissions assistants here at Lick. I'm going to be your main point of contact on the admissions team for any flex tuition related questions. I probably will be reaching out to many of you in the next couple months to gather some more information, and I am always around if you have any questions. And so I'm going to pass the mic back over to Jeanette.
Okay. Good evening. First and foremost, thank you to everyone for being on this call tonight. I realize that 6:30 p.m. on a weeknight in December may not be the easiest time for your family to hop on a Zoom call. But I also realize you're here because it's important for you to understand more about how you might be able to make an education at Lick or another independent school a possibility for your family. A little bit about myself. I was fortunate. My mom applied for me to receive financial aid at a high school many years ago, which enabled me to go to an independent high school in Virginia. And even today, I still sit on the board of that school, as it made a big difference in my life. Tonight, we're going to provide you a lot of data. I'm a CFOO, so of course, I really like data. But in addition to data, we're also going to provide to you just some basic information about the application process and answer questions you might have, really with a goal of just trying to demystify the process and also allow you to have a face with a name. So if you have follow-up questions, you do know who to reach out to. This slide, what is flexible tuition? At other schools, you'll hear it referred to as financial aid. We made a decision many years ago to not call it a financial aid program, but instead call it flexible tuition, really with a goal of encouraging more families to apply. The idea is that we have a wide range of tuition here at Lick, from about $850 this year to the full tuition amount of $59,850. As stated on the slide, the real goal of our program is to ensure access and socioeconomic diversity here at Lick. It is so important to us that I believe we have the largest budget of any of our peer schools here in the Bay Area, with about $7.6 million this year of our operating budget, or over a quarter of our operating budget dedicated to the flexible tuition program. This results in about a third of our students paying less than the full tuition. And for the students that are in our flexible tuition program, the average tuition paid is close to $19,000. You'll see there $18,844. So if you could just pass it on to the next slide there, Michelle, thank you. Every single year we get calls saying, hey, my income is this, what tuition do you anticipate that we would pay? We can't answer that question directly because although income is the primary variable that impacts the amount of tuition that is calculated, there are many, many variables. So in addition to income, it's assets and number of children in a tuition paying school. Those are really the three key things. So it's your income, your assets, and the number of students in a tuition paying school. But although we can't give you a direct number that says, oh, if your income is this is what the expected tuition will be, we do provide this slide just to give an idea and a range to really kind of show the buckets. So you'll see here for our current families, so these are all of the families today. There's, I think, 180 families in our flexible tuition program. About 20% of them have income below 125,000. And then you'll see it's kind of evenly distributed from 125 to 200, 200 to 300, and then above 300,000. And as you might imagine, average tuition paid does increase as the income goes up. Obviously, that makes sense. So it's about 5,000 at the range of 125,000 or below on average, and then going up to 31,000 for this chart. But if you go to the next slide, you're going to see kind of the same idea, but represented in a different way. This shows of the 180 students in our program, what the percentage of students are by tuition paid. So about 20% of our students in the flexible tuition program pay between 825 to 5,000. If you just kind of look across the different bars here, it's fairly evenly distributed. It works out to about 60% of our families pay less than 20,000. But the biggest bucket really is in that 825 to 5,000 range. But we do have some families, about 10%, that actually pay more than 40,000 in our flexible tuition program. So the slide really represents that we have a wide range of tuition based on, as I mentioned, many variables, but primarily income, assets, and number of children in a tuition paying school. So that is it for my part. A lot of data that I just threw at you, but I will be accessible at the end of the call for any additional questions that you may have. So with that, I'm going to pass it over to Una.
All right. So the first step in this process is to sign up for Clarity. Clarity's application process is user-friendly and it's also mobile compatible. So if you desire, you could do the whole application on your smartphone. One important thing to remember is that you will only need to fill out one form per household for Clarity and only pay one application fee if applicable. This form covers everyone in the household who is applying to a school that uses Clarity. For separate households, you will need to have a separate Clarity application for each household. So an application will not be considered complete without all the supporting documents from all households. There are four main sections to fill out: people, background, verification, and financials. And after that, you can review and submit. Clarity uses the same methodology to calculate a suggested family's contribution for each applicant. So it's based on income, number of dependents, assets, debt, parent guardian age, and how many dependents are in tuition paying schools. We require 2 years of supporting documentation, so we need tax returns and W-2s from 2023 and 2024. And it's important to note that some schools have switched to Clarity, but there are some that still use school and student services. Okay. So for completing the Clarity application, you want to start by making a username and password or logging into an existing account. You will not need any type of code to complete the application. And it's a good idea to gather this information in advance. So on the next slide, we will do a brief overview of the paperwork you'll need to gather, but it's good to be ready when you sit down to start your application. Make sure you choose the 25-26 academic school year, since this is the year that your child will be enrolling. You don't have to finish this all in one sitting. We know that it's detailed and can be challenging to complete all at once, especially if you have other life obligations. So you can always click save and then come back to it at a later time. You will need to pay the Clarity application fee of $60. Clarity may waive this fee depending on your income, but if you have any questions about it, we encourage you to reach out directly to Clarity. And if you have more than one student applying from one family, you will only need to complete the Clarity application once. Just make sure that you include both students as applicants on to LWHS. If you have any questions while you're going through the Clarity application, please take a look at the Clarity application guide. It's available in both English and Spanish. It's made by Clarity and it's meant to make the process as smooth as possible. These documents are also available on our website at lwhs.org/affording, where you can find it under the useful links section on the right-hand side. The entire Clarity application is also available in Spanish. So if you're on the application page, the bottom left-hand corner side of the screen, you can find a place where you can toggle between English and Spanish. All right, so the Clarity application requires you to sign and submit Form 4506C. So each member of your household will need to complete their own Form 4560 or 06C, excuse me. This form allows Clarity to pull your prior year tax returns. If your current address doesn't match your most recent 1040 address, please indicate that your address has changed in the last 2 years by clicking yes in the answer to the question, did you file taxes in 2023 at a different address? So we require 2 years of tax returns, including all schedules, W-2s, and 1099s from 2023 and 2024. Clarity will automatically transfer your 2023 tax documents from the IRS into the Clarity portal, but you will need to upload your 2024 federal tax returns, including all schedules and or W-2s and 1099s onto Clarity. Some other important paperwork that you may need would be child support paperwork, if applicable, mortgage statements, bank account statements, credit card statements, educational expenses, so if you pay tuition for any other children, and family expenses. So info about medical expenses, extracurriculars, and vacation expenses. All right. And so I'm going to go over some dates to know for new families. If there are any current families here, please note that your dates are going to be a little bit different than the ones you see on this slide, but you should have received communication from the business office about this. So if you have any questions, please reach out to Emily. And so January 9th, 2025 is the application deadline both for applying to Lick-Wilmerding High School and for the Clarity application. We would like you to submit all your 2024 W-2s, 1040s, and all schedules to Clarity by March 3rd. On March 20th, the admissions decisions, including your flexible tuition amount, should you qualify, will be sent to you via the mail. And the next day, on March 21st, you will be notified on Ravenna about your admissions decision and should you qualify your flex tuition amount. Then by March 27th, by noon, if you qualify for flex tuition, we request that your enrollment agreement be returned. And so now I'm going to pass it over to Emily, and she's going to give you some quick tips on completing your Clarity application.
Hi, everyone. I know that completing the Clarity application can be overwhelming, and sometimes it can be hard to come up with the answers. So I have a few quick tips that may help you as you go through the application. The first quick tip is for the question about how much your family will contribute towards the tuition for the 25-26 school year. When answering this question, please be realistic about the amount your family will be able to contribute. I recommend creating a monthly budget of income and expenses to see how much your family can put towards tuition. This number should not include any additional contributions you may receive from other sources. There's a separate question that addresses funds you may receive from friends, family, and other sources. And then the next quick tip. While completing your application, families may feel like the questions don't truly represent their current financial situation, or maybe there's been a change in circumstances, or their situation just needs additional explanations. Well, there's an area where additional information can be added at the end of the Clarity application. Feel free to use this space to tell us more about your family situation, or if there's anything you feel we may need to know. I have here a few common questions about our flexible tuition process. I understand that having your 2024 federal tax return completed by March 3rd can be a real challenge. So what happens if your family can't complete your taxes on time? The Flex Committee won't be able to process the application without the current year and last year's tax returns and the corresponding W-2s. If you do need an extension, please be sure to reach out to Una as soon as possible. Our next common question is, how does Lick handle multiple households? In the situation with multiple households, each household will be required to submit their own Clarity application and tax documents. Our committee will calculate the total ability to pay using all household information, and it'll be up to each family to determine how the tuition should be split. If you have extenuating circumstances that need to be discussed further, be sure to reach out to the admissions office. And on to our last common question. We know that applying to high schools and the flexible tuition process can be a lot, or maybe you're not sure if your family should apply or needs to apply. So, can families wait to apply for flexible tuition until they know their child has been accepted? No, our flexible tuition and admissions application process runs parallel to each other, and once the deadline has passed, we cannot accept any late tuition, flexible tuition applications. All the funds will have been distributed once the admissions decisions have been sent out. I also have here a few case studies. Our program consists of many families and wide range of income levels. There are many factors that are taken into consideration before the tuition is finalized. Each family's financial situation is unique, and we are ready to work with each family who needs assistance. Today, we have 2 examples, and I'll provide a quick snapshot of the various situations we have here. Our first example is a family of 4, 2 income earners, 2 children in tuition charging schools, and the family owns a primary home. Their total income is $220,000 with a net worth of $483,000. The net worth figure includes home equity, investments, retirement accounts, and their savings. The family's tuition responsibility was $8,900. As a reminder, LIC tuition does include lunch, books, course materials, and class retreats as well. For our next case study, we have a family of 3 with 2 income earners, 1 child in tuition charging school. The family owns their home, and the income is $230,000 with a net worth of about $1.5 million. Again, this figure does include home equity, investments, retirement accounts, and savings. The family's tuition was set at $37,000. As you can see from these 2 examples, the number of children in tuition charging schools will have a huge impact on the amount of tuition the family will be responsible for.
Okay, thank you so much, team. We know that this process can be overwhelming, and so we want to make sure that you have all the resources available to you as you complete your flexible tuition application. On our affording page in the downloads box, we have the PFS workbook and instruction booklet, the tax primer, and the LWHS supplemental form in both English and Spanish. And as a reminder, these slides will be emailed to you after the presentation, along with a recording, so you'll be able to open these links. We know that many of you probably have questions as you're listening to this presentation. We will open up a live Q&A in just a few minutes. But before then, we wanted to address some of our most frequently asked questions. The first one is, does applying for flexible tuition decrease the chance of admission to the school? No. Our flexible tuition decisions are determined separately from admissions decisions. And that being said, we are need aware, which means that our budget allows for a certain percentage of our incoming class to enroll through the flexible tuition program. Next question is there an income cutoff eligibility for flexible tuition? No, we don't have a cap on income eligibility. Typically, the average income for our flexible tuition families is about $260,300. And the last question is, if a family does not apply or receive flexible tuition 1 year, can they apply the following year? Yes, any family is welcome to reapply or apply to the flexible tuition program. However, our school is seldom able to accept families into the program after 9th grade. Only when a significant change in income or a family situation year over year would qualify. Okay, All right, so those were our frequently asked questions. Thank you so much for joining the call tonight on a Tuesday evening. We do really appreciate you making the time, and that we hope that this presentation was informative and that you were able to get your questions answered about our flexible tuition process. If we weren't able to answer any family-specific questions, we do encourage you to either send us an email, or you can call us and we'll able to connect with you. We really appreciate that you are looking at Lick-Wilmerding High School as an option for your family, and please know that we're here to support you as you are narrowing down your decision of where you're applying. We do wish you and your family a happy holidays, and we hope to see you soon.